All right, I think this is gonna be I'm gonna complete this series now, if I can, with this video. And I wanted to say, because as much as I rail about clocks and stuff like that, I have something significant that I'd like to accomplish in the morning. So I'm gonna have to manage what remains of the evening in the morning to complete and clear that objective. But what I wanted to say is that I'm gonna offer something, a little bit of champ talk with this next statement. And this is not my original statement, but that I had a teacher in school when I was taking some music classes, and she was saying that one thing that she taught was that she taught me a lot of great stuff, that teacher. And but she said, trust the work. If you're doing something like going to school, or you want to become a musician, you want to become a content creator, you have to trust the work and do the work for the work's sake. So like when I do different videos on this channel, and so when I do the videos, they're not calculated to an audience. They're calculated to an interest. So who would ever have interest in, like, maybe something about music, or the type of statements I would make. And I have a part of being a writer is that you're actually imagining engaging your audience. So you're actually stepping out of yourself to an audience. That's part of I read a book that said that life may become more humane after the printing press and literacy in novels became available, because part of reading a book is that you are accessing the experience of another person. You actually can't do so without a reference. So you're actually you're accessing yourself, that whole point, because whatever you read in a book, your ability to understand it is part of you're referencing your own experience in order to get just a little bit out of your experience. And that might be why it's hard to read a technical book, or like a music book, or something about something that you haven't experienced before. It's just that you don't have a reference for it, so it doesn't you can't actually apprehend it and stay focused on it, because it's not drawing up references with you. But according to this book I read, is that that's actually what made us more compassionate, is because we could understand the experience of other. We could understand our own experience as another person, and another person as our experience, and that creates compassion. But it still had been, we only have ourselves to reference in this life. And as far as we know, another person could not be a person as soon as we see them as a person. And even as we see a person as a person, they may not be with us in a short time. So had that yet been a person while we experienced them, if they were that soon to not be a person at any other point in perceptible reality, appreciable reality, existence, had they been a person at all, had we been a person at all, therefore, had life not been a dream. That's part of what I want to say with this video. But to trust the work. So when I do these videos, I don't have a clear understanding of who I'm engaging. But that's part of what it is to be an author or a content creator, is whatever grasp you have of an audience, and your ability to manage that grasp, even though you don't have direct feedback. That might be what it is. What is the work, or the strong suit of being a author or content creator. But one thing is that when I do so, I'm not like calculating it along like demographic lines, or like even advertising per se. There's certain subjects that I haven't really looked into as an adult. I've looked into witchcraft. I've looked into medicine. I've looked into art. I've looked into history. I've looked into a little bit of politics, and I've looked into business. But I haven't looked into advertising, because something about advertising feels disingenuous to me. And so, but when you make a title for a video, like these videos, sometimes you're like, well, this is what it's about, but what can I call it? What should I call it? What would get more clicks? And it gets a little bit clickbaity. I'll be frank that some of my video titles may be a little bit clickbaity, but I didn't know any better or any different what the hell I was doing. But I do think that I intend to offer value with some of these videos. And excuse me, but I shy away from, I've always shied away from advertising. And I think that titling the videos is a little bit of advertising. But what I can do is trust the work, because whether the videos have a lot of views, or any views, or a few views, is that I'm offering value, and I'm trusting the work, that as I upload work and value, as I'm able to appreciate it and understand it and render it, that is a value in itself. To offer value is a value in itself, and that is trusting the work, what my teacher taught me. And that's what's called forth upon to be original, and to be like a content creator, or an artist, or different things. Even you could maybe even say a labor, like if you had a job where you're doing like labor, manual labor that serves a purpose, if you believe that in that and it means something to you, then that's worthwhile and you trust the work. I worked as a school bus driver for the last 4 years, and a lot of different peers would say like, oh yeah, these drivers are complacent. Another school bus driver told me that, or these school bus drivers are this and that, or this is so useless or whatever. But for me, the work had meaning in itself, and sometimes I was drawing a great paycheck, but sometimes I had different things that I had to spend that on that I actually didn't get value for the different things I had to spend it on, different useless bills, useless products, useless services, just different useless things to spend hard-earned money on, for lack of a better word, money. That was okay, but sometimes I'd actually have some digital. Sometimes I'd have some money, for lack of a better word, in my account that I could use as something cool, and sometimes I wouldn't, and sometimes it'd be along a lot of like worthless stuff that I had to pay for, but I think it might not be paid because I didn't get anything of value, and what I was compensated was arbitrary. Okay, so this job's gonna pay you this much, and this job's gonna pay you this much for the same damn thing. So is that pay not arbitrary at that point? Is it just not some made up monopoly bull crap? I'm not saying it doesn't keep the lights on and us inside of doors, but it's as arbitrary as anything. But sometimes I was doing better and worse, but I was as happy doing that role because I believed in that job and I felt productive and I felt like I was of service to my community and people that I love, co-workers that I love, and actually the people I was caring for that I didn't know personally or over personally, but I still love them because I love human beings. And I think I've been a loving person most of my life. I've had love for people, and I've inclined to understand and appreciate people as beautiful, all people as beautiful and different, and beautiful for being different and different as being beautiful. But that job was nothing as work but there's nothing easy about wake up at 3 a.m., hop in the shower, leave by 3:30, get to base by 4:15, start warming up buses in sub-zero weather so they can be running by about 5:30 or 6 when the routes start. Run your own route at 5:30 or 6. Get back about 9. Then you do have some time on your hands in the midday, or you can get another route during the midday, and you can maybe take some disabled or pre-K students to school for about an hour, or for about an hour and a half or 2 hours in between your morning and PM, or you do a field trip in between your morning and PM on this yet sub-zero day. Then you come back in the evening and you do your PM route of 3 groups, that is tiers of about up to 70 students of anywhere from K through 12, and any concentration of those numbers, be it elementary, middle school, or high school. Then you take the last load home, and then you maybe have some time on your hands, and you go back and you sit around a parking lot for about an hour by yourself on a bus before you had gotten around to becoming a musician, and you would have otherwise had a guitar with you. And then you wait to take some high school students home in a heavy city traffic, and you have a lot of high school students that got real life stuff going on, and sometimes very crazy and challenging stuff that would be similar to what an adult could face can transpire between those students. And you have to also keep them safe from themselves and on the bus and from traffic to get them all the way home, the last student, by about maybe as late as 7:30 or 8 at night. And then you yet commute about another half hour across town to get home. And then when you get home, you're yet shacked up with family, and you actually don't have a room of your own. And you're maybe like on in a living room, living somewhere, and you don't have any. You actually can't enjoy like eating a meal or doing something unto yourself because you have different conversation on the phone with relatives going on, people that are not working, that are up at all hours of the night playing video games and keeping lights on, and coming and making food in the kitchen up to 11 and 12 at night, where you yet have to get ready to wake up again at 3 in the morning, potentially again, if it says that cold again. And then sometimes you have like a chronically ill family member that'll make calls on a cell phone across a living room to you to get help from you in the middle of the night while you yet need to go to work, and their other family member is employed to help them but has fallen asleep that night even though they would otherwise be playing video games. That's a little bit of the lifestyle, but I was willing to do that because I love these people, and it's doing the work for the work's sake. So I'm saying I'm offering this channel as work for the work's sake.